Esteval Willian is going to be a special player. Mark my words. Today, Chelsea fans saw glimpses of our future. And trust me, right now, we're rubbing our hands at what this player could become. Firstly, welcome to Saeed Sports Arena, where we will be talking football, talking Chelsea, talking sports, and preying on the downfall of Victor Flopperez and Arsenal Football Club. The last time we saw Esteval Willian playing football, he scored against Chelsea, an absolute banger. And the next time he puts the Chelsea kit on, he opens the scoring and plays a game like that on his debut. Yes, it was a pre-season. Yes, it was against Leverkusen, who lost Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Jonathan Tah, Granit Xhaka. Regardless of all of these factors, you have to praise this 18-year-old's performance for the first time in a Chelsea shirt. The thing that stood out mostly was his confidence, the amount of times that he demanded that ball, his close control, his link-up play, especially with Cole Palmer in that first half. He was sensational from start to finish. In the second half, he played in the 10, showing his all-round ability as a footballer. He's not just a winger. And when you think about it, we have Pedro Neto, who he will be most likely competing with next season down that right-hand side. But he's got a bit more to his game. The last time that I saw a winger at Chelsea Football Club where I said that they're a maverick, they're a game changer, was probably Eden Hazard. By no means am I comparing this kid to Eden Hazard, especially after what Eden Hazard achieved in a Chelsea shirt. I have to admit the fact that we have stumbled upon a gem. And even though he's going to be competing with Pedro Neto is more of a touchline winger. That's his bread and butter. He wants that ball down the flanks. He wants to try to take on his man, get a crossing, possibly cut in and shoot. With Esteval, he's got a bit more to his game. You see him drift off into other positions, like down the left-hand side, into that 10 position. You see those little flicks, those little tricks, and that close control in tight areas, especially in that 10 area. Right now, is Pedro Neto better than him? Possibly not. But who has a bigger ceiling? It's Esteval, and it's just night and day. Whilst Esteval had a great game, one of our attackers really struggled today, and that was Liam Delap. Now, I mentioned that he struggled, but it's not entirely his fault. I feel like we're not utilizing him because we haven't really had a number 9 like him for quite some time, and I don't think this group of players have had a number 9 like him. When you think about it, Nicholas Jackson was our 9 for 2 years in this system, in Enzo Maresca's system and Pochettino's system. But he was more of a winger that had become a 9. And he had qualities and traits where he'd like to drop in, he'd like to roll a man, and he'd like to run at that back 4. Liam Delap wants to be between those two centre-backs. He's an old school number 9. He has dimensions similar to that of Diego Costa. When you have a striker like that, you have to feed him. You have to put those balls in. You have to put those balls across the box. And we didn't really do that much. I think we crossed that ball once or twice, and one of them he nearly scored if it wasn't for a great save from that keeper. It's important that we learn how to use him. The same thing happened in the Club World Cup, where we weren't really feeding him enough, and we were either a second too late. Pedro Neto would cut back, and I saw glimpses of that today. But he came off. When he came off, he looked like he had a good attitude, and he looks like he wants to work. So I wouldn't be too fussed about that. But moving on to strikers, another striker came onto that pitch, another number 9, and absolutely shined. João Pedro. That 50 million is looking cheap right now, especially with Sesko going for that amount and probably Nicholas Jackson going to Newcastle for about 70 million. João Pedro came onto that pitch. His intensity, his physicality, his ability to come in, drop deep and get that ball and sort of make things happen. But one thing that I like about him is he's got that Bobby Firmino trait where he's sort of a false 9, sort of similar to the likes of Gabriel Jesus. But where Gabriel Jesus sort of struggles is the fact that he neglects his main objective, which is to score goals and be in between the centre-backs. That's one thing that I like about João Pedro. He doesn't forget his duties, where he needs to be between those centre-backs and causing issues there. And that was on full display when he was a part of the build-up, and then Antwi got that ball, went past his defender and cut the ball back. And who was there in the dangerous areas? João Pedro, taking a touch and absolutely smacking it bottom bins. And it's going to be interesting in how Enzo Maresca uses our 2 striking options, because there's going to be games where it may be tailored to a Liam Delap and there's going to be games where João Pedro will be more suited. Like, who is he going to play when we're playing against a low block? Who is he going to play when we're going to be playing against a Liverpool and they're going to be far higher up? It's going to be interesting in how Enzo Maresca manages those situations, his tactics, what he's going to do, how he's going to utilize his players. So much positivity to talk about right now. It's a great time to be a Chelsea fan. But a couple of days ago, we got bad news with Levi Colwill being out with an ACL injury. When it comes to ACL injuries, just mark a whole year off. That's how long it takes. If you told me Levi Colwill got an ACL injury and he's going to be out for a season, and this was February of last season, I'll probably say, it's okay. Like, he's playing poor anyway. It's not like we're going to miss anything. But now, in August of 2025, I can actually say that we are going to struggle next season. Levi Colwill's glow up here in the last 8 games of the Premier League was something crazy. His leadership, his communication, his performances, like how he just developed and he just progressed into this martial art of our back four. And where would we be without him? He scored that goal against Nottingham Forest that secured top 4 football for us, Champions League football for us next season. Then going into the Club World Cup, he was a standout player. Not to mention, he came on in the Conference League final for Benoit Badiashile and absolutely steadied the ship when we looked shaky. That begs the question, do we go into the market and possibly look for a replacement, or do we have or do we put some trust and belief into some of our players like Tosin Adarabioyo, Trevor Chalobah, and also an absolute gem in Joshua Champong. Joshua Champong's ceiling is absolutely ridiculous. Like, the player that he could become is actually scary. He had 5 recoveries, 1 interception. Of course, he needs to put on a bit of muscle, but already standing at about, 6 feet tall. He looks very composed. His passing range looks good. Like, it's not to the level of a Trevor Chalobah's passing range, but still he looks very crisp. He looks comfortable. It begs the question, are we going to put our trust and belief into him? What I would personally say is no. You should not be putting that much trust on a player of that age, ever. Especially going into the Premier League season where you're going to be dealing with the likes of Ekitike, Gyökeres, Salah, Florian Wirtz. Like, the qualities that Haaland, I think that's just too much to put. That's too much of a burden to put on his shoulders, and I don't think it'd be a smart move whatsoever. Speaking of 19-year-olds, Jarell Hato, what a player this guy is. Like, I see why he was the captain at Ajax at the age of 19. At a time where Marc Cucurella has been genuinely ran to the ground. Like, the second half of Pochettino's season, he was the starting left back. I know him and Ben Chilwell were fighting for that position, but then he became the dead certain left back. Then he goes into the Euros, wins the Euros, plays every single game, comes back to Chelsea, plays almost every single game for Enzo Maresca. Then he goes to the Club World Cup, and then he gets 2 weeks off. He was bound to get injured, and the fact that we got a Jarell Hato in, something that surprised me as well, his ability to play as like an inverted fullback, and that's a trait that not a lot of fullbacks can possess, but he looked very comfortable in that position. So, and the fact that Cucurella's 27 and he's 19 means what? We have Cucurella for an extra 4 years probably at his best. Jarell Hato he's got 10 years at this club. So it was a perfect signing. Moving on to our new number 11 that came on, that we've been waiting to see in a Chelsea shirt, Jamie Gittins. His impact off the bench, his first touch, he gave Esteval a great chance where he just scuffed it wide. His second touch, he just got the ball, glided past the player, done a step over, cut in and just smacked it. He's got the explosivity of a Mudryk, but he's got far more control. He doesn't have the control and like those little dragbacks that Jadon Sancho possessed, but he's far more direct. So could we be getting a best of both worlds here? I think so. But one thing I can guarantee you is expect Chelsea to play down that left-hand side a lot more. For the past couple of years, we've solely been playing down that right-hand side. Like, sometimes I forget that the left-hand side exists. So our only threat there has been Marc Cucurella, honestly. But now, Like, looking at Jamie Gittins, he's got everything that you want from a winger, from a touchline winger, from an Enzo Maresca sort of touchline winger. Such exciting times, but there are some underlying concerns, that being the goalkeeper position. At around the 87th minute, Jorgensen just had a bozo moment where he just completely miskicked the ball when he barely had any pressure. And Reece James actually done well to recover there. Do I see us spinning the block back for Mike Maignan? Possibly, especially we're playing against him in a couple of days, maybe a whisper or two. Do I see Robert Sanchez or Jorgensen winning us a Premier League title? Possibly. Is there a chance that I become a billionaire tomorrow? Possibly as well. You know what I mean? Like, the chances may be low, but it's still a possibility. The guys in charge of the transfers really look at that goalkeeper position, because I see us struggling, especially with the unpredictability of our two keepers. We need we need a goalkeeper that calms our defense, that calms our teams, not unsettles them. And even though Sanchez can have a game like he done against PSG, there's going to be games where he costs us points. And at a time where the Premier League's as competitive as it is now, we just can't afford that. We can't afford those risks. What is our objectives next season? Last season, it was clear as day, get top 4 and win the Conference League. We've done that. We even won the Club World Cup. Next season, I want to be in a title contention the whole way. And I don't mean falling off in February. I don't mean falling off in April. I mean to the last day. I want to chase Liverpool down to the last day. At the end of next season, it would have been 9 years since we last won the Premier League titles. This is Manchester United numbers, like close to Arsenal numbers, and we just can't do that. Make sure to show love, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Saeed Sports Arena. Join the community, join the family, where we're just going to bash Arsenal. We're going to talk Chelsea. You get me?